A quick rundown of the BOAVISTA squad and tactics. Under Lampard, it's the same system we saw Frank use with Coventry, Chelsea, and with Montpellier. His tried and tested formula, you could say. Of course, he did use a 4-4-2 at one stage with Coventry for one season. It's a back three with two sitting in front of them, and two wide players on the wings that are naturally attacking wingers but who are charged with a huge amount of tracking back and defending. Then two up front with the number 8 behind them joining the midfield and attack. The thing about this team is they can play possession-based football and press heavily from the front, but they do give the opposition a chance with the spaces out wide and by relying on the defense to go 1v1 at times. Having said that, Montpellier last season were incredibly strong in defense, conceding only 12 goals until the very tail end of the season where they let in a few once the title had been won. Something that should be pointed out though is that the Montpellier backline had a lot of pace and athleticism, with Mani, Kabak, Race, etc. Here with BOAVISTA, as we've already seen, the backline won't be quite as quick or mobile. That won't stop Lampard using this system though. It'll just mean more goals conceded and a case of outgunning teams, at least for the early part of the season until they become accustomed to their roles as a unit. The full squad then, starting from goal. Noureddin Ahmed, the Egyptian who was third choice at Montpellier last season, has joined Lampard at BOAVISTA. He didn't really get too many chances but looked fairly solid when played. Challenging for the number 1 spot is Brazilian Davy, who spent a number of seasons as first choice in the Brazilian league so has plenty of experience. Back up to both is the Russian Ivan Budochev, who's unlikely to start many games barring injuries to those ahead of him. At the back there are a number of similarly matched players, so difficult to tell who will start. Thomas Aviles, the Argentine who was playing in the MLS last season, is a strong candidate to be a regular, although Yarek Hernandez, the Spaniard who spent a title-winning season under Lampard in France, could rival him. As could Elias Benkara, who arrived with Lampard having spent both seasons with him at Montpellier. Benkara is very highly rated by Lampard and his coaching staff, but despite his height and power and pace, has looked somewhat unconvincing at times. Another who was at Montpellier is Pentelis Hatzidakos, the Greek-born Dutchman. He was picked up on a free and will likely serve as emergency cover. Jaya from Nottingham Forest is another who will be looking to play his way into starting contention. Extremely tall at 1.98 m, his aerial assets are immediately obvious. But the pick of the bunch is arguably Jamie Simpson-Pusey, a former Manchester City Academy star. The Englishman has looked commanding and reliable at the back so far and has already captained the side on several occasions. The 4 central midfielders, 2 of them are the more defensive-minded, who do most of the sitting. The Mexican Eugenio Pizzuto, a small, tough-tackling, tidy, combative midfielder who is technically good also, with Leslie Ugochukwu formerly of Chelsea and Burnley. The tall Frenchman is likely the first choice with his quality on the ball and his physical stature, but Pizzuto stands to certainly get a lot of game time as well. The box-to-box midfielders are Bruno Biden, the slightly built Brazilian. Technically good with a good engine, and João Teixeira, or João Petit as he's known in Portugal. The former Porto youngster is unrecognizable from his Porto days, sporting a blonde ponytail and having bulked up over the years. Teixeira is very highly rated by Lampard and is likely to be the go-to man in that midfield role, although Bruno will be heavily rotated, going by Lampard's past history. There isn't too much to separate either though. The key candidate for the 8 role is Isaac Babardi, a star for PSV Eindhoven in recent seasons. The Dutchman is blisteringly quick with good feet and an eye for goal. He is expected to be a key figure. Then, the Dane Albert Grombeek, who has travelled around including playing in England with Brentford and in Germany with Hamburg. Less attacking and less spectacular than his Dutch counterpart, but a player who could deputise fairly well in that position. Now the wingers, where there's an embarrassment of riches. The tall, talented Dutchman Geraldinho Berggraaf was a big signing for BOAVISTA, arriving from Nice in France, where Lampard got a very good look at him over 2 seasons. Berggraaf, though capable of playing wide on the left, is also a lethal centre-forward. Likely to challenge for the left-wing position also is Elias Lefranc, a very talented Belgian with good dribbling, attacking instincts and link-up play, with Bosnian star Esmir Bajraktarevic also a name to consider. The Bosnian is also pacey, technically proficient and has good delivery from out wide. On the right side, Ecuadorian speedster Kenny Arroyo will face stiff competition from both former Brighton man Brajan Gruda and Moroccan star Ilyas Akamak. All three are at a similar level and Lampard could go for any on any given day. Finally up front, along with the aforementioned Berggraaf, are for strikers all challenging on an equal footing for game time as strikers in Lampard's two-striker system. Senegal-born Dane Papa Tomi has so far stolen the limelight. The tall, powerful striker is pacey, good in the air and has a bullet of a shot while not being without a competent all-round game. Possibly next in order of preference for Lampard is Moroccan star Elias Dow, who has been lighting up Belgium for a number of seasons with Anderlecht as Belgian league top scorer. Dow, although not as tall and powerful, is quick, a good finisher and a slightly more capable dribbler and technical player. Similar to Dow is Brazilian Marcos Leonardo, who arrived at BOAVISTA having spent several years in Saudi playing for Al Hilal. A good all-round striker with good finishing. Lastly, another who arrives from Saudi, George Ilinikina. The Frenchman was a product of Monaco's academy and was earmarked as a major talent early on, though most of that is yet to be fulfilled. Lampard has spoken about Ilinikina's talent in a recent interview, insisting the Frenchman can reach major heights as a striker in European football if he applies himself with full dedication.